All right, we're live now. Well, welcome everybody and good morning. Today we'll be looking at a fundamental question. Should you and I be involved in crypto-related assets? Should we actually give a thought to it? And what are the benefits or disadvantages, if there are any, looking at cryptos? So if you've been following me on SimplyPips, you notice lately I've been a bit quiet on currencies. They'll be quiet on the group too, in the group. And that's because why do we decide to become traders in the first instance? If you think deeply, one of the reasons why we became traders is to gain freedom, right? Some of us were working in the banks, other industries, and we decided to quit. We're looking for freedom. And along the line, it turned out that freedom, some level of freedom can be gotten if you have financial independence, right? So, and that simply means that my allegiance is not to any asset class per se. It is to whatever asset class will give me an easy passage to the financial freedom we so seek. Currencies, Forex for that matter, is one of the oldest and is the most liquid, also regulated and very manipulated. I still engage in Forex. Of course, if I have to trade FTMO, I'm not allowed to trade cryptos, or I haven't even tried trading it. So currencies, yes, I still do them, but for now, cryptos are in a bull run. And when we say bull run, it's like you hardly ever get it wrong, especially if you do your risk management right. Just basically buy. I'm going to show you the screen right now. Here you have coin market cap. You can also use CoinGecko or whatever you prefer. I prefer coin market cap. And there are over, you can see my screen, over 8,500 cryptocurrencies listed on this site in over 34,269 markets, right? And the market cap, we all know that the market cap for currencies, we always say 7-point-something trillion and the likes. Well, the market cap for crypto is seated here, right? Somebody can tell us if that is billion, trillion, or whatever. This is 24-hour volume. That's $173 billion. Of course, with BTC dominating at 64.4%. Now, if I scroll down the top 100, right? This site lists them in hundreds. If I scroll down the top 100, you could basically see that the vast majority is green. And I love seeing the red because the red shows that there is a pullback and an opportunity for me to buy. Everything here is green, right? And you rarely see 0.0 something growth. You are seeing massive growth. Like Bitcoin, we started buying Bitcoin when Bitcoin was earlier in the year when it was like $30-something. I dropped a hint on TradingView. If you're not following me on TradingView, please do so, right? And when it got to 50, how I was hovering, we stepped out briefly. Then Elon came and it pushed up, and presently it's sitting at 55. It was just 40-something 2 days ago. So it had jumped 17.22% in 7 days. Now, if you trade currencies and you make 17.22%, most times you need to stay in the market for like 3 weeks to arrive at this. Ethereum 9.9, I've been anticipating it to hit 2,000. It did overnight, fortunately. I wasn't awake. Binance is even dropping. I bought BNB when it was $48. It's presently sitting at $297. Over a 300% growth in the last 2 months or thereabout. Binance used to be the sixth. It overtook Theta and Polkadot. ADA was 0.8 some days back, and I hinted that it will be breaching the $1, and I possibly see it doing $2 up to $3. So if you buy Cardano now at $1, and it eventually like $2 maybe in 3 weeks or 1 month, you would have doubled your portfolio in that. XRP, in spite of all they have with SEC, is still on the high, and basically you could see the growth, right? 17 point something. And to help you see this better, I will go to TradingView. Remember, what I'm explaining here now is allegiance to a particular asset class. So what matters is what helps you to get your result in terms of profitability. Yes, I was showing this to a team earlier on. In just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, 6 weeks, sorry, I needed to pick this. In just 6 weeks, Theta gave us over 600%. Over 600% growth in 6 weeks. All right, so let's come to currencies. I'll come to currencies right now. And I want you to see something. Before I go to the currencies, I want you to look at the change here. Look at the change on the crypto assets, right? You could see 18%, 14% negative, 13%. You see massive growth higher than the first 1 digit, right? Now, when we go to currencies, what you see is maximum of maybe 1 point something AUD, and that was because AUD had some massive news yesterday. Every other thing, then, of course, okay, this is BTC, in fact. Every other thing is negative. It simply means if I click on AUD USD and I go to the weekly time frame, the percentage growth in NU was just 2%. So if I trade NUD USD for a whole week, the percentage growth is 2.18%. The reason why retail traders will make more than 2.58% is because we use leveraged accounts, where the broker gives us some form of leverage, a 1:100, a 1:1000, and that is why we seem to be doing well. If we trade NZD USD as a spot, meaning that you are trading it as an asset, you just buy and keep without leverage. Of course, many people wouldn't be trading currencies, because for you to be able to trade one standard lot in currencies, you need to have 100,000 equivalent of dollars in NU, right? If you need to trade 0.1, which is the mini, you would be having $10,000. And if you want to trade the micro, which most retail traders are conversant with, then you should have $1,000 sitting in your account. Now, most retail traders don't have $1,000 sitting in their account, right? So why are we able to trade currencies easily is because we have leverage, right? So take out leverage from currencies. What you have here is some miniature growth of 2.18%. If I go to Bitcoin within the same week, the last week, Bitcoin has moved by 24.15%, right? Massive, massive. So, and you know, as traders, when there is change in price, there has to be some form of change in price, which we call volatility, for us to make money. So if price is moving, you want to make money. If you trade currencies and you understand the time zones, you understand why we rarely want to trade Asian session, because it's consolidating. We want a wide change, and that's why we'll come to the London session or the New York session to trade. Right, so let's move on. So I just gave you the reason why I seem to be focusing on cryptos now, because the growth there is massive. Is it going to last forever? No. Since we don't have allegiance to any asset class, when the money stops pouring in on crypto and it moves to stocks or commodities or metals or currencies, will go back to them. And like I said, I still trade them on the sideline, right? Okay, now, so let's move on. Bitcoin is becoming a global currency. There's so many stories about initially it was like a scam and everything. But one thing you need to understand is one definition of money, or one characteristic of money, is that it has to be generally accepted by the group of persons who are using it as a means of storage of value or exchange of value, right? It has to be generally accepted. Bitcoin is becoming generally accepted. In fact, it is more generally accepted than most currencies worldwide. Now I'm giving you the top countries by market capitalization, and I want you to see something here. By currency capitalization, China is top of the list, right? And in terms of Bitcoin, China has 610 million Bitcoin in terms of market cap, right? United States is next. Now, if you scroll down a little, you see Bitcoin sitting at number 19, right? It has beaten Belgium, Russia, Thailand, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, which is the first world country, Sweden, Malaysia, Luxembourg, Turkey, is beating Austria, is beating United Arab Emirates, it's beating it, right? It's beating Egypt, Norway, the Philippines, South Africa, Denmark. And if you're in Nigeria, you might want to see Nigeria at number 57. So when your government is planning to ban something that is bigger than your market cap, you understand what I'm saying? All right, so Bitcoin is sitting down here at this level. If you think that the Mexican peso is something worth trading on MT4, why would you discount Bitcoin, which is above Mexican peso? Why would you want to discount it? Right? So I'm trying to say here that Bitcoin is like a currency now. And Bitcoin has one attribute that every other currency listed on this screen doesn't have. And it is that it is finite. It is scarce. One of the characteristics of money is that it has to be scarce. So in US presently now, they give stimulus, and I hope you know that for that stimulus to be given, they have to print money. They actually print it. And for every time you print, what happens to the currency? It gets weaker. When you print a currency, when you print currencies and you supply them into the economy without work, no proof of work done, right? No proof of work done, you just printed currencies and supply them. What happens is that you have plenty money chasing the same number of goods, and what would that bring? That will bring inflation. When the demand is more than the supply, price goes up, right? And when inflation goes up, the value of that currency plummets. And so if you go to the chart and I open up DXY, if I open up DXY right now, you basically see DXY has been dropping, it's been falling. If I go to the monthly time frame, it's been falling, guys. Why? You keep printing dollars and printing dollars and printing dollars, it's going to keep dropping. It's going to keep dropping, right? So in the terms of Bitcoin, it's finite. If I come back here and I come to Bitcoin here, and I come to the circulating supply, the maximum supply of Bitcoin is 21 million. And presently we have 18.6 million BTC, which accounts for about 88.73% in circulation. And Bitcoin gets burned several times, meaning that people misplace their addresses. Some people don't tell their family members that they have Bitcoin and they pass on, and that can never be recovered. So the circulating supply will ever be shrinking. And as it shrinks, the value will go higher. Why is gold precious? Gold is not different from granite, but why is it precious? It's because it's scarce. It's scarce. So with scarcity comes value, right? So let's go to, we looked at it in terms of currencies. Let's look at it in terms of fiat. And fiat just simply means, the same thing is, but here we looked at it in terms of countries. Fiat is paper money printed by the government, right? Again, you can see BTC sitting at number 14, right? It's sitting at number 14, beating a lot of countries. So the next currency that Bitcoin needs to beat now is the Swiss franc. And the Swiss franc is one of the major currencies we trade in Forex, right? And once it does Swiss franc, of course, it will beat the next and move. We'll be looking at AUD, and very soon it's going to catch up with CAD, and then you'll have GBP, JPY, Euro, USD for it to beat. It will keep climbing. How far will it go? We are all speculators. We don't know. I'm of the belief that Bitcoin will be dusting $125,000 by the end of the year. If this bull run continues at this rate, it should do that before September, right? Now, let's check the percentage of people that own Bitcoin in the world. And here I'm talking about Bitcoin. I'm going to dovetail down towards the end of this webinar into cryptos generally. I'm using Bitcoin because it has the most market dominance now, right? Just 1.3% of the world population is holding Bitcoin. 1.3% of the world population is holding Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoin, you are one of the few holding Bitcoin. And as it gets more scarce, you get more important. You store your money and become possibly richer, right? So you want to be part of the 1.3%, right? Now here you can see in this website, you can see the Bitcoin distribution across the world. And in terms of addresses, you discover that about 31 million addresses have just one Bitcoin or lesser, one USD value of Bitcoin in their wallet, one USD or lesser. 15 million has $100 or less, and 6 has 1,000. By the time you get to 10,000 US dollars, only 9,000 people have that. More rich people are going to jump into Bitcoin because it seems to be a safer way of saving money. Why are we in a bull run now? The world is in trouble with Corona, lockdown and everything. People need to transfer money from one place to the other. People need to continue payments, and the banks are clamping down on so many things. Bitcoin is an alternative. If I need to send money to somebody in Sweden or in US presently, and I go to the bank, it's going to take about 3 days for that person to get the money. If I send cryptocurrencies, if I send USDT, for instance, the person will receive the money in less than a minute, withdraw it the next minute, and in 3 minutes, the transaction is done, right? So here, I want you to just see that in spite of the fact that we say 1.3% of the world population is holding on to Bitcoin, out of that 1.3%, less than 1.9% has 100,000 BTC. But let's leave that. That is too high. One Bitcoin is about $55,000 now. Less than 4% has from 0.1 Bitcoin, which is just $5,000. Less than 1% has from 0.01 to 0.1%. Don't you think it's time to jump in? When Bitcoin was $20,000, some of my friends felt it was too expensive. Then it jumped up to 30-something. They felt it was still too expensive. And now it's 55. So one of them chatted me up this morning as early as 4:30 a.m. He said, "Boss, when will this thing come down?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't control anything. I don't know when it's going to come down. But with the strategy we trade, when it comes down, we make money. When it goes up, we make money. That is why we are traders, right? We buy when it's going up and we sell when it's coming down. Look at that. Look at that leap, right? So if I go to the daily time frame, Bitcoin as at December this year, last year, I beg your pardon, was sitting at just a moment, please. Sorry. Bitcoin was sitting at December. Let's take December 19th. It was sitting at 24,000. Some people felt it was too expensive, and now it's sitting at 56. Will it come down? We don't know, right? So there are two ways you can trade. You can trade it as a margin stuff, where you just buy, sell, the way we do currencies. When you move certain percentage, you sell off, right? For those of you who don't want to get involved in buying and selling, still want to focus on some other things, you can just buy and hold, right? I want to wow you by showing you this. Just hold on, please, 1 minute. All right. Now, the highest point Bitcoin ever got prior to this time was about close to 20,000, and that was 11 December 2017. I'm going to place a line there right now. All right. So mid last year, I had a webinar and I mentioned that where Bitcoin is now will look like a dot in some years to come. If I scroll to present day now, look at that point, right? If I scroll down, you would notice that the peak before was here. When I was saying it was going to look like a dot, it was something around here. Notice that growth, right? And you can do this for virtually all cryptocurrencies. Look at this. Look at Link. Just look at Link. It was $8, 17th of January. It's presently sitting at 33. Right. So one way you can trade it is the trade using our method, order blocks, AQZs. You buy and sell, but my policy is I don't sell in a bull run. I'm only looking for buys, because when you understand trend, you should know that the push up will always be more vigorous and aggressive than the pullback, right? So I'm more interested in buys in a bull run, and daily order blocks, H4 order blocks, AQZs will do all that for us. Powerful. All right, so let's move on with that. So I've been able to tell you that if you have 0.01 Bitcoin presently, which will mean you are maybe $500 or thereabout or so, would that be 55, or thereabout, you are part of the 0.97% of people doing this, right? So your aim should be to get a 0.1 to 1 Bitcoin, maybe in another 2-3 years. Farm it, right? Farm it and do that. I'll be hosting something. I don't know if I should make it free yet or paid. YouTube seems to be clamping down some of my videos. I don't know. So I'll think about that. Maybe make it paid and make it cheap. So teach you how to farm the Bitcoin. You could farm your Bitcoin and do that. I'll give you an example of what I mean by farming. All right, so let's come back here to Bitcoin first, and I'll show you what I mean by farming. Then we'll go back to the analogy we're having. All right, so sometime I shared an idea somewhere here where I mentioned that it's time for us to buy Bitcoin here. I mentioned it's time for us to buy Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And we had an AQZ fib placed on this order block, right? And I mentioned that Bitcoin had bounced on that particular place for like, how many days? I think I counted the days. Yeah, BTC fails to break the daily OB for 18 days straight now. I mentioned that on TradingView. If you're not following me, go follow. Right, so this was that. And I had reasons to believe that Bitcoin was finding it difficult to break this level here, right? So we were in a buy for every time it came to this buy zone. When I saw this rejection, a close beneath and looked like it was going down, I sold my Bitcoin. And when I mean sell, I don't mean I enter into the sell transaction. I converted my Bitcoin, and I converted my Bitcoin to BNB on this same day that this candle happened. This is Elon Musk's candle. So when Elon Musk and his company bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, price shot up. It's here, right? Tesla buys 1.5 billion in BTC. If you don't know, Elon is presently the world's richest man, right? So it shot up, and I felt so sad because I had just barely changed my Bitcoin to BNB when this happened. I felt so sad. I lost about 25% opportunity to grow. But then I went back to the chart, and BNB had grown. So look at it. Bitcoin 7 days growth is 17.22%. BNB is 126%. So watch this. If I have 1K invested in Bitcoin, even when it grows to $100,000, my Bitcoin will only be my value in Naira, in dollars, will only be 2K. It would have doubled, right? Except if I use margin trade. And of course, you can also use leverage trading by using MT4. If you use MT4, this will be well over $34,000, right? Because you'll be leveraging at that point in time. Now, but let's take spot where you're just buying it and you're keeping it. Now, imagine if I use this 1K and I buy BNB. When I buy BNB, and by the time BNB gets to just $500, assuming I bought it, let's say by the time BNB gets to $1,000, or let's take the same increase, this one doubles and this doubles. I would have made more. I would have made more in terms of percentage growth. So just watch what I said now. So I bought BNB, and in that same time that I took Bitcoin to get to 17% growth, BNB has done 127% growth. So it simply means my 1K will be higher now, maybe something like 3.5K, right? So I can use my 3.5K and buy more Bitcoin than I would have bought if I had just my 1K. So this is my farmland, and what I'm farming is Bitcoin. More on that when we get into maybe some other time. I need to be sure that you guys are interested. So can you make proper use of my time? Right, so I just want you guys to see that Bitcoin is becoming a currency, right? It's becoming a currency, something you need to hold. And it's becoming a global currency. If I'm traveling to Dubai today, I only need to hold Bitcoin. When I get there, I'll change it. I'll always have a place to change. And I'll move. And I can do this without the banks, without anything. Nobody needs to know how much I have. Nobody, I mean, you are completely anonymous and you move around. That's the power. Look at the number of countries that Bitcoin has trashed. This is a list of about 116 countries. And Bitcoin is sitting safely at number 14. So you ignore it at your own peril. If you are not in yet, even if you don't know how to trade it, can you just buy a little and keep? And don't bother about the oscillations because you know the value will go up. If you are married and you got married 20 years ago and you gave your wife a golden ring, you might have bought that ring then at $200, right? 10 years down the line, the same ring, which she still has on her finger, is valued in the market at, let's say, $1,000. When it was oscillating up and down, were you bothered and were you telling your wife, oh, that ring is, the price is dropping, we need to sell it now, or the price is rising, we need to, you weren't doing that, you just held on to it. Now you go to the market, you can exchange it for $1,000. Same thing will happen with Bitcoin, and same thing has been happening with all cryptocurrencies, right? So I'll just give you a hint of how I do this, and we'll be thinking, I'll give room for questions. You can ask your questions and we'll look at how to go about it. All right, so what I do is I focus mainly, part of my portfolio is sitting on the top 20 Bitcoin cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap. Then the others I flaunt between the top 200, right? So if I go to the next 100 down here, right, we'll go to the next 100, you see GLM has done 110% in 7 days, guys. 110% in 7 days. Flow has done 22.7, right? Hot, 44%, right? Massive growth, you see, massive growth happening. So what I watch out for the ones that have dropped, and I go mark up my charts and look for possibilities to buy, right? So I've been giving some signals lately to the guys that have passed through some trainings with me. And let's quickly go through the, right, so this, we bought Link, and we're up 22% of our buy. For those of you who know AQZ, you understand why we bought there. XLM was on a H4 AQZ, boom, and is already on its way up. We bought again. Theta, yes, I mentioned that. So we've been doing some massive growth. This is another one, CRV, USDT. I think I mentioned NEO. NEO is another good one to buy. If I go to the weekly time frame, you see that NEO just, it grew all the way up here, and then it crashed. It consolidated for a while, and it has broken that consolidation, right? Presently, I'm holding on to some NEO portfolio, and I see it coming all the way up here. It might take some time, but I see it doing that all the way up here, right? For 304% growth of whatever I invest in it. And you can do this with MT4 too, right? So I use Hugo's Way. I'll send my referral link if some of you want to pay back for the time I spend giving this info. You could subscribe if you want to open a live account with them. Now, I want you to see the power of trading crypto on MT4. Again, you need to know how to calculate your lot size. Cryptos are not, you don't count pips, you count them in satoshis. I just want to give an example right here on my screen. This is a demo account. If I take a trade right now, and the smallest lot size we know is 0.01. If I take a trade on 0.01 and I sell, I'm taking a sell on 0.01. Again, you can trade cryptos over the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, you can trade cryptos. So if you are an addict of trading, well, now you have something to keep you busy over the weekend. I'm going to pull this down to this level, right? And I want you to see what that would have done. So if I pull this to this level, just watch. Can you see? Can somebody tell me what the profit is there? Anybody willing to unmute or perhaps just chat? What profit can you see if it goes that low? If it goes that low, 400. Now, can you tell me what currency pair you trade? I'll give you 433 after moving. Let me put Control Y here. Sorry. Let me put a Control Y. I'm not saying take this trade. I don't sell. Remember, I'm not selling anything. I'm only in buys. I'm anticipating dips for buys. I'm not interested in selling. You saw what happened when I explained what happened to me with Elon Musk. I got out of the trade and it shut up. Right, the banks and so many other people are getting involved. I didn't have the time to prepare. I would have shown you proofs on the internet. Banks, several big establishments are going into it. Now, in just one day, so let's say I got in here and price drop. Of course, you can see that price can do this move in one day. All this move that happened here happened in just one day. This is one day. You could have made $200 and something, $400 and something, trading in 1 day, guys, in 1 day, using 0.01. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. You should understand that if you could make $500 in a day, you could also lose $500 in a day. So it's not meant for the faint-hearted. Your analysis has to be spot on. But it doesn't take out of the fact that virtually every cryptocurrency you know is bullish. It's basically bullish. You should be considering either farming Bitcoin or at least holding some level of Bitcoin. And like I said, though we're mentioning Bitcoin, the idea is you should be aware of some assets that are doing well now. There are other assets doing well apart from currencies. Ontology is another one that could move up. One thing you need to know is that this could even do 600% or thereabout. One thing you need to know is that cryptos are moved largely by fundamentals and not technicals. We only use technicals to determine when to enter, but fundamentals move cryptos. So you don't just go in and look at the chart and buy. Some cryptos are on their way down and will never rise up again. We have over 8,000 of them on CoinMarketCap. Some will die natural deaths. So you don't want to go buying something that's on its way down. You need to understand, why is it coming down? Why should I buy? Why should I hold? I've mentioned some of the ones I'm buying, ADA and the likes. So I usually will come to CoinMarketCal, which is CoinMarket Calendar, and I watch for my fundamental news here and determine what I want to buy or what I want to hold based on what the price is doing. So for instance, this is a paid information, so let's leave that out. Right, so this is where you get info about what's going to happen soon, and you determine what you want to do with them, right? So I'll stop here and give room for 1 or 2 questions. I just wanted you guys to understand why it might look like I've been silent somehow and I keep asking you guys to drop your chats, and it's because I don't want to bore you guys with crypto-related stuff. Most of you came in because of Forex, and you should be focused. How much do you recommend someone equity before you can start investing in cryptocurrency? It depends on, if you want to, you can start with as low as $50, $100. Same thing with Forex, right? It's just that you can grow your money with crypto faster. And of course, the reverse is true. You can blow it before you say Jack Robinson. If you were selling when Elon dropped 1.5 million, you will just come back to your MT4 and discover that your chart is clean. All the lines have disappeared. And if you understand what that means, when you enter a trade and you come back to your MT4 and all the lines have disappeared, it simply means the trade has closed, right? So it happens very, very fast in cryptocurrencies. Yeah, if you want to trade it as a leverage tool, well, then you can start with 50. You can even open a cent account and use that to trade. So we have a trade running presently. Let's see what we have here. All right, so we have a trade running. Now you need to understand that the spread is wide. The spread is wide, guys. Right? So, but who bothers about the spread if profitability is almost guaranteed? Who cares about the spread, right? So yes, let me ask your questions. I think there is a CoinMarketCal, which is different from CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCal is CoinMarket Calendar. CoinMarketCap is CoinMarket Capitalization. So there are 2 different things. There's capitalization, there is calendar. Use the calendar for news. The CoinMarketCal, for me, is like Forex Factory, right? It's like Forex Factory or the economic calendar on my FX book for Forex. So if there are no questions, I'll call it a wrap. I just hope you guys have been able to grab some stuff that you don't have to sit put. If you are new, of course, you sit. I trade basically on MT4 and on Binance. Of course, you can see my Binance icon there. I trade basically on MT4 and Binance. And it's been some massive growth lately. Massive growth rate lately. And you should consider it. There are lots of scammers out there in the crypto world, more than I don't know if I don't have that information. I wanted to say more than that of Forex, but I don't have any publication to support that. So I'll take it back. But there are lots of scammers out there in the internet. And because many people are new, How do you calculate a Satoshi? You could read it up, you could read them up, but you know, the same thing with anything currencies. If you want to know your PIP value, you come here, let's take Euro USD that you guys are used to. Come here in Euro USD, right click and go to specification. When you go to specification, it tells you how Euro USD is handled by this broker. It's telling you that Euro USD has 5 digits up here. First, it tells you that the spread is floating, so no fixed spread. And it has 5 digits, meaning that it has 5 digits after the decimal place, right? So you have Euro USD at 1.211905 digits. The contract size is 100,000, meaning that one lot is 100,000, right? The main currency, of course, is Euro. And of course, the quote will be the USD, right? Then they tell you some other, okay, they tell you the minimal value in terms of volume is 0.01, and the maximum volume is 100, 1,000 lot size. You can increase your volume by a step of 0.01 so 0.01, 0.02 like that. So go to your broker and click on the cryptocurrency you want to trade. So let's say I want to trade on EDO USD. I go there and click, and now I have, so you notice the contract size here is 1,000, right? As against 100,000 for Euro USD. When I go to BTC USD, again, I go to specification, the contract size here is just 10. So there is no fixed rule on how to calculate the Satoshis. You need to do your work, and once you've done it for one broker, it's done. They don't change it, and you keep using it as you trade. So it's not, how did you discover that coin calendar? I wish to further research like you, boss. Whoosh! I pay for information, right? So I'm not angry with some people who felt I was teaching some things and we're reporting to YouTube.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, bro.
Yes, sir. So I tried to take some BNB yesterday.
Yep.
So, but I could not know. I could not find it on my this thing, and the actual amount I actually stake wasn't showing on my Binance. I don't know what happened. I could not find it on my USDT anymore.
Binance had an issue yesterday. The MD, the CEO brought it up, but I think it's okay now. If you check this morning, it will be there. The CEO mentioned that yesterday. If you're trading on Binance, then you should have followed the CEO. For every currency coin or token for every coin and token I follow, I follow the CEO, right? So he dropped that announcement yesterday somewhere. Where was that? But I think it's okay now. You can check. Everything is okay. They were having some problems yesterday. And that has been resolved. So you should see your. But one thing you should clear up is, do you want to be swing trader in the sense that you want to hold? We call it hodl in the crypto world, or you want to margin trade? You should determine that. All right, I need to call it a wrap. The day is loaded, and I have another meeting for 10. But I hope you guys will go read up one or two things. When I decide if we want to have a paid, maybe 1 week training or so, we might get to know. Else we'll continue to give it in bits like this. But don't eat up all your funds. Invest in them, and that should be okay. All right, guys, enjoy your evening. Those of you trading volatility, crypto, happy weekend, happy trading over the weekend. A lot of things to trade. Whoosh! Look at that push. Look at that push on REN, and we spotted it on the daily time frame. I think, yep, we spotted it on the daily time frame. It came, bounced, and a massive push. It was a massive push to that side, 86%. And if you are leveraging, this could be 800 and something percent, right? It could be 800 and something percent if you leverage. 1 inch ADA, right? So this is one I'm saying that will most likely get to $2. It was sitting somewhere around 70 cents when I gave the signal out that it was going to breach $1, and it has done that. From 70 cents to about $1 is about 39% or thereabout. So imagine if you have your funds and just buying something and holding it and go ahead, and let's be arguing whether an order block has been broken or not on SimplyPips. And while we argue, somewhere, your asset has grown by 39%. Wonderful, isn't it? Right. So I think the analysis, okay, here, I was anticipating it to breach this high, and it just done that. I'm still hoping that either because they have some massive news coming up, some new news and some other listings coming up. I anticipate it getting to $2. I anticipate it getting to $2. When? I don't know. I don't control the market. But if it does get to $200, that will be about 125% growth. And thereafter, we'll begin to anticipate it going to 300. So I'll be dropping, this weekend is going to be quite busy, but throughout next week, I'll drop 2 analyses per day, hopefully, on TradingView. If you are not following me on TradingView, go to TradingView. My name remains the same on every social media handle. Look for Bishop Raj. And of course, my face remains the same with the blue jacket. Like and follow. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you all.